It's been a long, exhausting day. Your troubles just won't go away. One thing that gets you through these is watching cheesy holiday movies. You think that you're above them, but you know that you love them. So get ready to listen. Now here comes Kevin and Kristen. Oh yeah.
Welcome everyone to Remark, where we do a weekly recap of this past weekend's Hallmark holiday movies. My name is Kristin Finger, and beside me is Kevin Regan. Kevin?
Hey, Kristin. How are you?
I'm great. Kevin, this weekend we got to watch Chateau Christmas. Can you tell us a little something about it?
I can, Kristin. This one takes place, we start in New York City with Margot Hammond, who is a world-renowned pianist. She returns to Chateau Newhouse to spend the holidays with her family after her concert is put out of its misery by an old theater. She is with her family to spend the holidays, and she's also hoping to rediscover her passion for music. While she is at the chateau, she finds her ex-boyfriend and former bandmate, Jackson Lewis, PhD, and he convinces her to headline the first annual Christmas concert, which is always weird to call something the first annual. Why wouldn't you just say the Christmas concert? But they call it that, so I will too. And of course, working together brings their old feelings back. So to watch this episode, Kris and I weren't going to do it by ourselves. We also asked some guests to join us. So joining us tonight, we have David Jadico.
Hello, Kevin and Kristen.
And Kris O'Brien.
Hello, guys.
So let's just get right into it. Kris and I love dissecting these movies. So first, let's talk about at the very top of the movie, we have Margot Hammond, played by Merritt Patterson. She is a Hallmark actor. She's in a lot of different Hallmark films. She's done other work, obviously. She starts off our film. We see her as this concert pianist who is actually taken aback by a review from a critic named Evelyn March. And that sets us on this whole whirlwind where she goes home with her tail between her legs, perhaps, to her family for Christmas. Kris O'Brien, do you watch Hallmark movies, or was this the first one you've watched?
No, I watch a lot of Hallmark movies all throughout the year, but mostly in the holiday season, the Christmas holiday season. But I've seen Harvest one. I've seen Spring Love. So I watch a lot.
Kris, you watch them throughout the year?
Yes, they have stories for every season, Dave.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay, I thought you meant the Christmas ones that you'll fire one up in July.
You can.
If you're lucky.
Oh, absolutely. Christmas in July.
All right. No, I've never seen one. I don't think I've ever had the Hallmark channel. I don't know how I would have stumbled onto one. And so this was completely new to me.
I wondered if maybe like even going home for the holidays, if maybe your mom ever watched them, because I know my mom always watched them.
No, nobody in my family has ever talked about these at all. I didn't see any Italians in the film either. So maybe that's a thing. I don't know.
Fair point. Yeah. That's a demographic they need to tap into.
Yeah, right.
Last year they had Christmas in Rome, so you missed it, Dave. You missed the
all right.
Italian one.
That is true.
Yeah, those are Italians, all right.
Yeah, they're covered for like the next 10 years. So
Right, yeah, check that box.
So I guess my first question would be,
This is technically your second question, Kevin.
yeah, you're right, it is.
I would like to add that Merritt Patterson is Canadian, as is most of the cast. He's 5'5" and 30 years old.
Wow, Kris, are you in the fan club?
Well, I know a little bit about her.
I'd like to think that Kris figured that out by watching.
Yeah. She was like,
Yeah, I mean, just a little background on filming this. They actually filmed this in July, obviously during the pandemic, and everybody had to quarantine for 2 weeks before even stepping on set. And then they were essentially quarantined while filming, and there were a lot of extras. So I don't know how true that is, but you could see lots of extras in the background.
I did notice, though, they kept talking about the choir. And you see like one shot of the choir over the shoulder
for 5 seconds.
You see like 3 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was expecting a sea of people. So that may have been an alteration during COVID.
Yeah,
It's very possible. Yeah.
And when we get to the snowball fight, they were bouncing. No snow. No snow.
No.
No, yeah, July. Yeah. They film in Vancouver, but still, you're at the mercy of, the weather of July. So, Kris, let's just jump right into what are your initial thoughts on the film?
I was disappointed.
Mm.
I did not care for this particular Hallmark film. It had a lot of the usual things that they have, the little catchy montage and the generic story that they have that we expect, the kiss at the end, all of those things. There wasn't enough conflict. I missed having a villain. I needed a villain in there. I like when there's some edge. I like when the characters have a little edge, they're a little angry sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't like each other at first. That's the best. And here, everybody was happy from the beginning to the end.
Yeah. Interesting.
There was definitely a villain. The villain was the critic.
Right.
I mean, the villain she was the one that created the doubt. Was constantly reminded that Margot was dealing with the fact that she had this review that implied she had no heart and that she didn't play with any feeling, which is, it's a pretty high assault on a musician.
Right, but she even agreed to that. Like when that came out, she said, I agree. I've known that for, years. I just didn't know it was coming through. And it's like, well, then that's a good critique to be given, good note to take.
Good point.
And of course, she says to her, the critic, well, I believe in you so much. I just expect so much from you. That's why I'm honest. So she really liked her.
Yeah, you're jumping to the end, Kris, which is totally fine, because to that point, I don't know if you guys noticed, but when we jump to the end of the film and we see Margot kind of recapture that spirit, she plays a song that obviously meant more to her because her father would play it for her, which was "Oh Holy Night" instead of "Deck the Halls." I mean, who has emotion with "Deck the Halls"? The entire room stands up in a standing ovation, except for the critic who smirks, but she never stood up.
Hallmark has awful editing. Like their cut twos are the worst.
Yeah.
But there was a very odd one when she and her sister ran into the critic and the critic's husband in the hotel. And then it cuts to literally the same spot in the hotel, but she's walking from the spot she was in, not with her sister, but with her mother. Did anyone else notice this?
No.
I don't know if I did.
Now that you're saying it, I remember that moment. It did not jump out to me when I was watching it.
I rewound it and I was like, was she with her mom? I thought it was her sister. It was her sister. And then the cut was to her mom.
They probably shot it out of order and they were like, that spot looks good. Let's use that spot.
Yeah. But that bothered me. You know what else bothered me? Here it comes.
Tell us, Kristin.
All the non-musicians playing their instruments, maybe?
Listen, I had John, my lovely musician husband, come downstairs. I paused it during when they brought the quartet back together. And I was like, oh. And they're
sawing away with the bows sliding up and down the strings.
Okay. I said, John, can you come down here? I need your help for a second. I said, can you just watch this? Are they playing? And he's like, no.
Well, hold on. Did he say anything about Luke McFarlane, though?
Right, because he was.
Yeah.
He was playing, but he only played for like one shot. Because I was watching also hyper vigilantly to see who was playing. Margot was playing a little bit, but she wasn't playing what she was playing.
Right.
But he was doing vibrato like a cellist would.
Yeah.
But it was only for like 2 seconds. Yeah.
And then they cut away. Well, so Luke McFarlane is an actual cellist. Like he studied the cello, and the script, he was originally supposed to be one of the violinists, which I have major problems with that because the whole point of, Jackson stepping in and playing with this quartet is the cellist had died. So if a violinist had died, wouldn't you just change it to a trio and not really be missing a lot? But that was...
You're not going to miss that second violin,
No. Yeah, but the cello, you're missing. It's just a bunch of, people playing the violin, not, doing whatever they're doing with the violin. So when he was cast, he had said, well, I played the cello, and they were like, well, we can rewrite that. That's fine. So that is how the cello...
I also like when she was like, when they suggested that he might substitute,
Yeah.
it was like out of nowhere. like where are we going to find a cellist? The other character in the show.
The man you just handed a cello to? Like, I don't.
The part I remember about that, or what struck me about that scene, was when they were done this whole thing, they were done the song in unison, and then they're all like,
Out of breath.
and I remember thinking, I was like, is it that exhausting to play the violin? Are they?
Chris, they're very heavy.
They were, it wasn't what it should have been. Like, it seemed to change to that, like, oh, something was missing. But at first they were like, I was like, woo.
You know, let's talk about the Lafayette Quartet a little bit, because when Jackson and Margot they go to a music shop, and this is strictly for Christmas shopping. It has nothing to do with anything else. And they just figure, well, let's go Christmas shop together. They go to this place, and they walk, and here's this guy, Sam. And then looking at the wall, they see, oh, the Lafayette Quartet, and it's Margot who realizes this guy, it's Sam Bennett. He was a violinist in the quartet. So they ask him about it, and he's a little standoffish, and I'm thinking, why would you have the poster up on the wall if it's an issue with you? If you're going to have a problem, take that down.
Also, why would you not want to do a gig? The big problem that is stated at the beginning is that they need musicians.
Right.
This takes place in Denver?
They kept saying Boulder, but I don't know they ever
Boulder.
really said, yeah.
And Lafayette is a little outside of Boulder.
Okay. Well, I looked up online. There's a musicians union in Colorado that has like over 700 union musicians. And those are the union musicians. Forget about like the non-union musicians. I don't understand why there was a problem finding somebody to play a gig around the holidays.
Because our Broadway singer got laryngitis, Dave. It's over. There's nothing we can do.
I also would like to bring up the mirroring of what happened to Sam and Sarah. Thank you. Is exactly what happened to our leads.
That's right.
So I thought that was a lovely sort of learn from the elders sort of moment.
Yeah. Sam professes that he earlier on, before the summation of the movie, that he made a mistake and he was making up for like lost time. Yeah.
And they hammer that home again at the end, just in case you were making like your hot chocolate at that moment or texting. I don't know. And he says, because he tells them the love of your life only comes along once if you're lucky. And then he says, you only get a second chance once if you're lucky. And I was like, this guy is pretty lucky. You should buy some scratch offs.
I was also amazed that they were building the concert together.
Yeah.
And she was coming up with these ideas that would have made the production team or whoever was spending money or whoever was making the decisions go insane. She was like, oh, I have an idea. Let's make it a dinner show, like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And
Like,
then
that wouldn't take
let's
planning.
do it in the round.
Yep.
Like, what? Like every single step was something that probably destroyed months of planning and budgetary consideration.
And gift bags.
Yeah, and gift bags
Yeah.
with snow globes.
Yeah, I don't know that there was a whole lot of planning because my man Adam Johnson, who was running that hotel,
Not good.
no. I mean, he has his college roommate put everything together for him who he hasn't seen. And I don't quite understand, again, the connection of why he asked his college roommate to do this. He's saying, hey, come to the concert on for me.
Because he knows music. And that's what people do. It's like when they look at us, they're like, oh, they do comedy. Do you want to create this entire comedy show? Like
Dave, throw another log on that fire. Start.
Oh, yeah.
going out. It's going out.
Adam was the highlight for me, actually.
Oh, lovely.
I thought he was the best part of the movie.
Tell us about that, Kris. I need to know why.
I just thought that he had some of the funniest things in there when they were saying, oh, you look just like you did in college. And he goes, I hear that. Well, maybe because it's the hair.
Yeah.
Just some of the little things he would say. Oh, well, the guy's like, we're 95% sure we've got this. Well, can you check his math, Margot? Because I don't trust him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, he's the funny guy.
There was a good scene early on with him and Jackson where they were kind of leaned into their relationship.
Yeah.
And again, the acting was very good. It is arguably very cheesy dialogue, and there's a lot of we made beautiful music together, and like all these metaphors and stuff that are really over the top, but they do a good job selling them.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that the guy that plays Adam is Jesse Hutch, and he normally doesn't look like that. He normally has really short hair, a beard, and he's in tons of these other movies and is not that guy. And I was like, wow, he really he was like, I got quarantine hair.
Quarantine hair.
I'm gonna let this, that's my character choice for this role. So I kind of appreciated him a little bit.
Did you notice he had a weird gait to the way he walked like a
They
cowboy?
both did.
Yeah.
They both did.
Yeah.
A swagger.
It was an unwanted swagger.
Yeah, I would agree.
It was not needed.
I was also amazed by the amount of, if you paid attention to the soundtrack, everything has jingle bells in it. Everything is like just Christmasified.
Yeah.
As is all the scenery. Like every background is so vivid with twinkling lights, like Kristen, your background right now, like that times 50. Like when they went to go meet the violinist, Sarah Baxter, for the first time, her house looked like it was Disney World. It was insane.
Yeah, I always am curious what their jobs are. Because a lot of times these people own like a cookie shop, basically. I mean, we don't know. We didn't get too deep into like Sarah's background, and obviously Sam owned a music store that had to be somewhat successful because that was pretty high end stuff that was right there in the front.
We didn't have a lower economic people represented in this movie. Sometimes they do. Sometimes there's people who are in danger of losing the farm, but not this movie.
Yeah, probably the lowest income person is the guy who's paying off his PhD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was another funny thing, is that we never hear, unless I missed it, anything about his family. Like brother, sister. It's Christmas. Where's your parents?
I assumed he was an orphan.
Maybe.
That's typically the case. Yeah.
He might be Jewish.
Right. Right.
Okay.
One of the things that I found actually interesting, and they've been doing this a little bit more, so kind of speaking to that, because Hallmark is there's a lot of like Christian background to it. To have a gentleman or a lady of an age where they're single has to mean something has happened, and most of the time it's death. It's so often it's a loved one has died, but they've been using divorce more and more, which is really interesting. And it wasn't a main character, but Sarah, says, because like the idea of her and Sam getting back together can't happen because she's married. Sam already said
married, right?
But then she says ex-husband when they say, Kris, you missed that. Kristen, did you miss it?
I literally was like, this floozy.
They're divorced. She's
divorced.
Yeah, when they talk about doing rehearsals, which again, I feel like 7 days for accomplished people, especially a woman who had just had her tour canceled, is not. It's a lot of time. Like I think 7 days.
Dude, and gigs to get hired, especially around the holidays. Often you don't do a rehearsal. You just read the charts because usually you're playing Christmas music. You just go in and you play it. Maybe one rehearsal.
Yeah. Well, they were talking about doing 2 a days, and that's what she said. She
offered 3.
Yeah, and that's what she said. If your husband, and she goes ex-husband, and it was like, well, we could do 3 a days, and they're like,
I missed
And
that.
then to make sure it's Hallmark nice, she says, "But we're still good friends." But there's no animosity here.
Well, that was also to set him at ease because he was like going to have like a negative reaction. And she was like, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
I like to talk about the chemistry that happens between the two actors that these movies end up putting together. This to me was oil and water. I did not feel.
Wow.
You don't.
I don't know. I just also, I'll get to him in a minute.
You do not like Luke. That's what it turns out. You don't like Jackson, but you don't like Luke.
No.
What is it? The basso profundo voice, the shit like works out at the gym. Like for a guy who's a PhD in music, he spends a lot of time at the gym.
Yeah.
No, he's not your type. Okay.
It's not my type. Kev, should we get into it now?
You know what? This is a great time to do our segment of Hallmark Holiday Hunks Objectification, also known as H3O.
every episode of this, we will be diving deep and objectifying the male lead of these films. Now, this film, obviously, the lead was Luke McFarland, I believe is his last name. So I judged the criteria of this between 1 and 10 mistletoes. And I go off of just this character, not the person that they are in real life or anything like that.
And not other roles they've played.
Right. And no other roles they've played. I also go off of sex appeal, what they look like. And of course, do I believe them? Do I like this character? Is there believability? So with those in mind, I'll start with Kevin. Kevin, 1 out of 10 mistletoes, what would you rate Luke McFarland's character Jackson?
I want to give him more than this, but I'm probably going to rank him at a very high 6 is where I'm going to put him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where are you getting? Okay.
I like him, but I do have problems. But so I'm gonna put him at a 6.
At a 6. Okay.
You don't have to ask why I objectify the way I do. 6.
Yes, I do. Because Chris O'Brien, what do you give him? 1 out of 10 mistletoes.
I was teeter-tottering between a 2 and a 3.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Chris, I feel that hard. And
I'd like to slap that smile right off his face.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, no love.
Man.
No love for Jackson. The guy has a PhD.
Chris, do you find him attractive?
Well, he is, I feel, attractive, but I don't find him attractive. He's not my kind of attractive.
There you go. Dave Jadico, 1 out of 10 mistletoes. What do you?
Wow, I feel like I might need to redeem this guy. So what I see, wait, do you want me to give you the number first or the explanation first?
Your call. Dealer's choice.
So I see a guy that's thrown into socially really awkward situations where he's immediately like, come interact with this family that you used to interact with.
Yeah.
And, aside from the niece who, when he met her, she was a baby, he had interacted with these people 10 years ago or 12 or 14 years ago, whatever that was. And they're immediately like, come over and hang out with them, or go with them to the tree lighting, or do, and he always is, he's immediately, yes. He immediately has no hesitation. You can see that he's uncomfortable, but he's very concerned to be nice and congenial to this family, despite the fact that he's probably feeling awkward in this situation and could dismiss all of them and just head off. So
I'm waiting for Dave to hit it with like a 1 after all that.
So there's that. He is an accomplished musician. You see him playing amongst a lot of people that are, again, sawing away on instruments that have no clue what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And for the moment that he's on screen, he's playing. And he says yes to everything. He's a supportive, he goes for it. Every time somebody asks him to do something, he jumps in. I think he's handsome, and I'm going to go around 7 or 8.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, here's the problem that I have with this character is that he doesn't have any of his own ideas. She offered every idea, and he was like, that's great. That's great. And I was like, ugh. Also, he walks funny.
You're also making him speak funny, and I think that's unfair because he doesn't speak funny.
Dave, I also have
pretty accurate.
Dumb voice. He has a dumb voice.
All right.
He does talk like that. I just found him not believable. I wanted him to stop. His sweaters were too tight.
Wait a second. He doesn't dress himself in these films.
They did a lot of cable knit sweaters for him, though.
I am a fan of a nicely fit sweater, but they didn't do him. I don't know. I don't find him attractive at all. He had broad shoulders, which I don't. That's not my thing. I don't like the
The cello is a heavy instrument.
Well, so I gave him a 2.
Wow. He's on the other end of Chris O'Brien's teeter-totter.
Yeah. So like the 2 was because of what Jadico said, was because he was put into this, like his friend just dumped this on him.
Yeah.
He stayed cool and calm through the whole thing. And I respect that. I respect that as like a human and someone that has to put together a theatrical production. But other than that, pass.
Well, there you have it. There's the objectification of Luke McFarlane, who will be our guest next week. Not now.
A little bit too nice.
Okay.
There was no rebel in him. I like a little, like what Kris was saying earlier. Like I like when they don't like each other at first, because you're like, ooh, what's going to be the turning point? Is it going to be when she falls off a ladder or when she falls into his arms, which happen at the same time?
Then I need to see probably a lot more of these so that I can readjust and calibrate my Hallmark hunk meter.
I think so, Dave.
Brennan Elliott and Lacey Chabert, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Chris O'Brien, you don't always want them to be nice. Sometimes you like them a little bit naughty. Well, we have a little elf at Santa's workshop.
Dazzle, dazzle, do. Hey everyone, it's me, Razzle, coming to you live from Santa's workshop here in the North Pole. I'm here to tell you how to have some fun with other people this Christmas. First, find a letter to Santa Claus. Perfect. Then, open it. Dear Santa, blah, 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 blah. Then, just find one little thing to change.
Okay, look, you got one more present from Santa.
Chris O'Brien, we know you will watch more of these because, you know, this wasn't enough to break you of watching them, correct?
No.
So, Dave, would you watch another one of these movies?
How long does your password last for?
Forever, buddy. That's yours now. You knock yourself out.
I may be watching a few tonight.
I love it.
There's nowhere to go but up.
Yeah.
Apparently not.
Chris, did you watch Delivered by Christmas on the Hallmark Mystery Channel?
Is it an obstetrician tale?
Is that the one where you posted about Ian? What's his name? Ian?
Yeah.
Ian Bailey.
I did not watch that yet.
Chris, you gotta watch it.
I don't know how comfortable I feel with all this objectifying going on right now.
Of the 4 this weekend, that was by far my favorite.
The best.
In fact, you know what, Kristen? You know, obviously we don't review every single movie, but we will review that one with a segment called Winter Wonder Whodunit.
Why, hello there. I didn't see you. Welcome to episode 2 of Winter Wonder Whodunit, where we answer who done fell in love. I'm Aubrie, and this is my co-host Shannon. Shannon, are you there? Whoa! I didn't see you there.
I didn't see you there.
Delightful. Very first mystery solved. We found Shannon.
Yeah. So tonight we're going to be recapping Delivered by Christmas.
It had it all. Intrigue,
A bakery.
a handsome chiseled jaw, and a peacoat.
But don't take it from us.
Take it from our recap.
We open on Molly, a workaholic bakery owner. Her ordering system is, well, disorganized.
Dun dun dun!
Her business is booming after her sister wrote an article about her bakery. Now, Molly is hoping the increase in her business will allow her to hire some help with her website. Until then, she's on her own.
How mysterious.
Wait for it. Josh, a highly successful programmer, and his son Charlie move into a new town to live closer to his brother and sister-in-law. They move into the world's nicest house. I'm serious. When I tell you it's nice, it is the nicest house I've ever seen. And they set out to have the best Christmas ever.
Ooh, I think I can solve it.
Go on.
Is it how you actually have the best Christmas ever?
Not really. Let's move on. When Molly and her niece go on a hunt for a Christmas tree, it results in a chance encounter with Josh while feeling up the perfect tree. Sparks fly.
A hunch. It is a mystery.
Sorta. So while Josh and his son are decorating the tree, we find out that Josh's wife, Kristy, was lost while protecting our country.
Quick, Shen. Do the kid being sad about thinking about his mom.
Okay.
Screen test. Shannon DeVido playing the little boy being sad about his mom.
I wish Mom wasn't dead.
Tears. These are tears.
Thank you.
That wasn't really a mystery, though.
No. So Josh's sister-in-law throws a party to welcome Josh and his son to the town. And while there, Josh gets roped into helping throw the big town Christmas festival. At the party, he meets this very forward woman, Jessica, who clearly wants to date him. She's not hiding it.
Is that the mystery? That multiple people want to date him?
I don't think so. I'd want to date him. He's very hot. Anyway, Josh gets put in charge of ordering the cookies and subsequently gets put in touch with Molly's bakery. While working in the middle of the night, Josh sends an email to Molly. Turns out, she's also up in the middle of the night. They talk cookies, and it's clear they have chemistry. But they don't realize that they've already met.
Mystery!
They did it! There's a real mystery this time!
Oh,
Yeah! As the movie trucks along, Josh and Molly continue to not only collab on a cookie order, but they also keep running into each other. This time, they run into each other at the ice cream store.
Ooh.
Still, each one doesn't have a clue that they are the same people.
Okay, you be Josh and I'll be Molly.
Okay, have we met before?
I don't think so.
And scene.
So good.
Yeah. When Josh's son volunteers to wrap presents for the military, he runs into Molly again while she's running a booth to send videos to the troops. Charlie, Josh's son, his wheels start turning and begin to think about how to bring his dad and Molly together. He's a regular child Yenta. He made a plan to bring his dad back to send a video to people who are deployed.
Oh, that's actually really nice.
No, it actually was. It was actually like a very nice moment.
He's like solving a mystery, kinda.
And supporting the troops.
The next day, Josh, Charlie, and his sister-in-law decide to change the Christmas cookie order to a gingerbread booth. He calls Molly and they have another spark-filled conversation. Josh is now deemed the cookie guy.
When Molly and her niece are also waiting to see Santa, and the cute guy she keeps running into is at the front of the line, Molly thinks that she sees him with his wife.
Ooh, the case of the wife or not the wife.
Maybe. Although, I feel like that's only a mystery to Molly.
Yeah, but I still think it counts.
Yeah, works for me. As bummed as she is, she dives right back into work. The cookie guy calls again to talk about the gingerbread, and they have a very long conversation about his wife who died in combat and the man that left Molly at the altar. And they are falling hard for each other, even though they've never seen each other in person, or so they think.
Dun, 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 dun.
While helping put together the cookie orders, Molly's sister Jane gets at Molly to admit that she's falling for the cookie guy and wonders if they should meet in person. Though hesitant, Molly agrees because she's curious. Molly also reveals that the cookie guy is going to be at the candy store at 3 p.m. There's a lot of food going on. Molly's sister drags Molly to go check him out.
The duo do a little surveillance outside the store, and they find out that Josh is the same guy she's been running into. What? Molly's sister is on a mission to get them together and thinks when Molly and Josh run the gingerbread booth together, they'll get together.
Yeah, they will. Josh and Charlie go record the video for the troops on a mission to see Molly. Unfortunately, Jessica, the forward lady from before, is taking over the booth for the day. She insists that Josh go to dinner with her. He initially tells her no, but then, after some coercing from his brother, Josh decides to go.
Dun dun dun!
Meanwhile, Molly's at the bakery and her perfect system fails her when the bread order for the Italian restaurant Blanche's Junction, the greatest Italian named restaurant of all time, falls on the ground. She gets the bread and takes it over to the junction. And while she's there, she sees Josh on his date with Jessica. Her heart is broken into 1,000 pieces.
Dun
Dun dun!
Here for Jessica.
Should we be dun-dun-dunning someone's broken heart?
Probably not. Maybe just a sad one.
Okay.
Dun,
The day of the festival finally arrives, and Molly is so heartbroken, she gets her sister to deliver the gingerbread. Josh is really sad that he never got to meet this wonderful baker on the other side of the phone. He tries to call her multiple times, probably an uncomfortable amount of times, but she doesn't take his calls.
While making gingerbread houses at the festival, Charlie reveals that he wants his dad to get together with the woman that they keep running into. Reminder, Josh doesn't know the baker and the woman they keep running into are one and the same.
They keep hammering that home. Jane thanks Amy for putting together the best festival yet, and then does some recon, asking if Josh is dating Jessica. Amy says no, and they think that he is into somebody else, because he's always talking on the phone. Jane knows exactly who it is.
Mystery solved.
Jane runs into the bakery and convinces Molly to put on her adorable dress that she bought and get down to the festival. Charlie sees Molly come in and he brings Josh to see her. While Josh is excited to see the person he keeps running into, it was then revealed that she was actually the one that he was falling for over the phone. And his heart melts. And they kiss, obviously. And they realize that they're actually in love with each other. The pair go to see the tree. Molly officially meets Charlie. And one can assume they all live happily ever after.
Yay!
That's it, the case of the cookie guy.
Until next time, Winter Wonder Whodunit out.
Okay, here we go. Hold on to your uteruses. Listen, I was not ready. Once again, I've seen Ian Bailey in other things. Band of Brothers was one of the first things I ever saw him in.
Right.
Very dapper and handsome in that. Like
The Stand. He's part of Stephen King's The Stand that's coming out.
He was in Once, which wonderful. And apparently I looked him up, was in an episode of Buffy.
I know. I couldn't place him. I could not place him.
I couldn't either. Kevin, I normally like to, give a 1 out of 10 mistletoes.
Mhm.
What would you give Ian Bailey's performance in Delivered by Christmas? 1 out of 10 mistletoes.
Well, listen, I'm hard pressed to ever give a 10 because that's perfection reserved for Elvis Presley and no one else. But I gotta tell you, I absolutely adored him. And the trailer for Delivered by Christmas is a little bit misleading, and he looks gruff in the trailer, like he's kind of standoffish. And then when you watch the movie, you're like, this guy absolutely could be standoffish, and he's not. He's a sweetheart the whole time. His world revolves around his son, and I really, really liked him. I love him and Molly. I can't go 10. I'm gonna stop at a 9, but he is an easy 9, and I could be convinced to a 10, but where do you go from there? So I'm gonna stick with a 9.
I understand your struggle, and here's the thing: when I was not ready for his eyes, the way he looks at people.
Yeah.
The way he walks. There was one moment where he like in like the opening sequence of him helping his son hang that wreath up on the tree.
Yeah.
His walk up those stairs, I was like, okay. Then he's like restless in bed and gets out of bed in that tight gray t-shirt.
You know what's up.
I had about triplets at that moment. Then they put him in all these really well-fitted sweaters and that GD hat. He looked so good in that hat.
Yeah.
I don't even really like long hair on men typically.
Yeah, it was almost greasy, but again, not dirty.
It was like when you're saying, oh my God, like he looked like he could have been such a dick in the things. I literally watching the preview is like porn for me because he's like, yeah, well, blah, blah, blah. Like just his voice. Then they had the audacity to put him in a crisp white button up and leave that top two to just
Gave the little hello.
Kevin, I know this is week one.
Whoa.
I know it's week one. I'm gonna give him 10.
10 mistletoes! Wow.
Wow.
I don't know where anyone goes from there. I mean, this might be our high watermark in week one. Week one?
They only really discuss like one musical thing the entire time. Somebody says they're practicing their double stops.
Yeah.
It's like the only time you hear anything that's remotely like
Jackson
musical
said that.
jargon or something. Yeah. I was like, it's very interesting that they threw that in there, maybe just for credibility or something, but just like.
I think because Jackson said that Luke McFarlane was like, can I actually say something that makes sense?
Yeah. It's like, look, you guys don't know what the hell you're talking about. Let me just throw something in.
I'm wondering, Dave, if you were surprised that they never kiss until the very end.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I was. I mean, there was, you see there's a couple of moments where he's kind of expecting maybe something might happen.
He almost kissed.
I don't know if you ever see her do it, but I think he did it twice, where he's leaning in a little bit and lingering. But no, that's the basis of Commedia, is that the two young lovers do all the potential energy, but you never touch. It's how you build tension. Mm-hmm. And so I wasn't surprised that it doesn't happen until the final moment. But now that you're saying it, does it always happen at the final moment?
Yes.
Always.
And does it ever go any further?
No.
Sometimes even after they've decided to get married, then they kiss for the first time.
Yeah.
Or at least on camera that we're seeing. But yeah, that's true.
There's scandalous ones where they do kiss like twice in a movie. And that's like, I don't know how they got the actors to do that because there's certain actors that only will do it once and they only do it in one take. That's in their contract.
It's very
wow. Because I was wondering, there's definitely one or two nights in this film where they're together and then there's the next morning. Mm-hmm. And you never see how the parting happens.
Yeah.
So like it happens at least once, definitely once, maybe twice, where it's like, oh, this is going well. Like this might turn into something, but then you don't see how they went on their way.
You know what, Dave, don't bring your lifetime sensibilities to this conversation. This is Hallmark.
It's always good night, Jackson. Good night, Margot. It's not like, yeah, I'll see you.
Yeah. Good night.
We are at the end of the week, and there have been 4 movies. How would you rank these 4 movies from 1 to 4, 1 being the best? This is backwards now from the mistletoe. Yeah. But 1 being the best, 4 being the least. I'm not going to say the worst, but how would you rank them?
I'm going to go the best by far. The female lead, Ian, is definitely delivered by Christmas. Number 1.
Agreed. 100% I agree. And I feel like it's going to be very difficult for any movie to knock that out of the number 1 spot.
I know. Number 1 right now. Number 2, I enjoyed Jingle Bell Bride.
Really?
Yes. And here's the reason why is because I liked the guy and his aunt character, and I liked that town more than I liked, because then I would go with Christmas Tree Lane.
Yeah, that's my number 2. Christmas Tree Lane would be my number 2. You know, I have a soft spot in my heart forever for Alicia Witt. I know we spoke about it a little bit before in the last episode, but I like Andrew Walker personally. I think he's fine.
He's fine. I do. He's fine. I don't know. That's all I'm going to say is he's fine.
Yeah.
But what did I give him?
I think you gave him was he a 6?
Yeah, something like that.
You
something
gave
like
him a 6.
but I'm sorry to say, Chateau Christmas is last.
On your stink list? It would be my number 3. I gotta tell you, Jingle Bell Bride would probably be my last. And
Really?
yeah, it was funny. You know, I'm glad we reviewed it. I'm glad that Dave and Brianna liked it as much as they did. It definitely felt like this was a weird one to kick off the whole thing with because it had a lot of issues. I think Ronnie Rowe Jr. did an amazing job carrying it, but it felt like that was the one I was like, had you put Deliver Before Christmas on Hallmark, not Hallmark Movie Mysteries, and that was your first one, I honestly don't know where you go for the rest of the
I would have stopped. I think we would have stopped the show. Yeah. I think it would be over. And that's saying something because next week Tyler Hines is in one. So
yeah. One of the things in Chateau Christmas, you know, we talked about this last episode with Jingle Bell Bride. There are certain things that happen in these movies. I know Chris O'Brien had mentioned the snowball fight. We had snowman building. We never saw it, but it was mentioned. There was a moment where Margot's sister, her sister's husband, whose name I looked up and down, I don't think we ever got his name, which is amazing to me.
Yeah, I don't think some of these characters have names.
Her niece was Simone, so we had that. Her sister's name, I believe, was Kate. We never really got her mom's name, but she's Mrs. Hammond, so that's I'm going to call her by her first name. But I don't know what Kate's husband's name was.
No, poor guy.
I'm kind of fine with. It was just like, you're there? I mean,
yeah. I mean, they gave him, he was like all excited about that sweater. Like we know so little about him except that he like appreciated that sweater.
And he got it.
He got
that sweater. This is the trope I want them to get rid of in Hallmark because I feel like it's kind of sexist, but I have to call it what it is. It's the nosy sister, and it's almost always the nosy sister, and they use it for to further the plot to get some exposition out. But this one has an incredibly nosy sister who, like, every time Margot comes back from anywhere, her sister's like, so what happened? And it's like, nothing. We're in a Hallmark movie. You know that.
Well, I think the interesting thing about this was that the whole family liked this guy and then were like mad at Margot for like going after her dream and not this guy. I mean, that's always a problem that I have with these, but I think that's why they were like, oh my God, Jackson's here. Oh my God, he's back. Oh my God.
That's always been a complaint about Hallmark movies, and it should be, which is the idea of the woman has to come home to her hometown and give up her career. And they overstressed in this movie at the end of the movie where Jackson is saying to her, she's like, I'm going to go on my tour. And when I come back, we'll see how things go, which was awesome. And then he's like, you can have both. You can have it all. And to his credit, that's true. You have tons of like professionals who you can have it all. You don't need to be like, I have to give up my career as a concert pianist.
Right.
What kind of tour is that? But whatever.
Also, he's a musician too. So it's like,
go with her. Yeah.
Go with her, you ding dong. You'd have a great time. And maybe you could pick up some gigs along the way or meet people.
Work on those double taps. You know what's up. You hated him. Oh man, you hated him.
I was so mad at him the whole time for no reason. I was like, ugh. Whatever he said, I was like, ugh.
There was a tree lighting in this episode as well. And I'm trying to remember exactly where.
Oh, yeah. He invited her, or she invited him to the tree lighting.
Right.
And that was when he did the cute line of, well, I want to hear you say it, because of when he asked her to be a part of the concert. That's what she said.
Yeah. So Hallmark kisses, tree lightings have been universal in all of the Hallmark movies so far.
I'm a little disappointed that no one has fallen off a ladder, but
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Talk about selling product. Holy crap. There's so many commercial breaks and they are long.
Yeah.
I always start these, I record them on my DVR and I start them a half hour after they start so I can skip every commercial break.
And you still catch up live by the end of it.
And I still catch up live. Yeah. There was a lot of product placement in this one.
Yeah.
More so than Jingle Bell Bride, I believe, because the ornament with the piano in it definitely is sold by Hallmark. Then the globe that Simone chose, 100%. All the wreaths, everything, and the trees they sell are the balsam. Yeah. And they'll mention them, or you'll see like the little kid carrying the box over, and the logo will be like real big.
Very prominent.
I think there was even a moment where they were decorating the tree and she brought over the bag that had balsam on it. That she was like taking the ornaments out.
Right.
Because they sell those ornament bags, which to be honest, Kevin, I should get one.
No, I'm all box. I go boxes.
We have them all like they're just in like a pile in a Tupperware container.
Yeah, that's how you're supposed to do it. And then when they break, you cry. That's Christmas.
Yes.
That's the meaning of Christmas. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Dave Jadico, is there anything you'd like to plug?
Let's see. Comedysportz, Saturday nights, since, for the last 27 years. I'll be doing a Match Game on Friday nights. This is the Week That Is, political comedy all through December with 1812 Productions. And I think one episode of Trash Puppets that's happening at the end of December on a night that I have off from This Is the Week That Is.
Oh, nice. Wow, you have no nights off through the holidays.
I do not.
Good for you. Chris O'Brien, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
In addition to what Dave said, I would like to plug Comedysportz classes, which we are having a new semester starting next week, the week of November 1st, I think, or 2nd. So sign up for a class.
I love it.
Yeah, and you can see the website underneath there. You can just go to that and take classes. I think we've all taught or taken classes or a little of both. So highly, highly recommend it. Again, thank you guys for being here tonight. We really appreciate it. And Dave, keep watching those Hallmark films, man.
Watching those movies.
You know it. I'm going to check them out. I gotta see what a number 8 in Kristen's book looks like.
His name is Tyler Hines.
His name is Tyler Hines.
So tune in all Christmas season long. Every Thursday, we will put out 2 episodes, and we will have some live episodes, so stay tuned for more information about that.
Excellent. Merry Christmas, Kev.
Merry Christmas, Kristen. And Happy Halloween.
Halloween!